Hello and welcome to Metal Vice, a podcast where we talk about all things music,
Well, the things we care about.
which is mainly live music and metal music. I'm one of your hosts, Brian, joined with my other host,
Karen,
Karen. What's this episode going to be about?
this is about Shinedown in Minneapolis.
Yeah, this was part of their Revelations live tour, is the name of this tour. And we saw this, as you said, in Minneapolis on April 30th of 2023. Opening with them was 3 Days Grace and From Ashes to New were the two openers. Ticket prices were $85.95, $26.24 in fees, and once again, an amazing tax rate of $1.67 per ticket. And this was seat tickets this time around.
Yeah.
We were in the 100 level. I think we were in like the last two rows of the 100, or very close. It was weird, like the section we were in.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
We
All I know is we had ADA seating by accident.
Did we really?
Yeah.
I did not notice that.
That's why it was indented where we sat.
Oh, I
ADA.
really liked it. It was kind of...
I liked it too.
I did not know it was ADA. Shit.
Yeah.
I kind of feel bad about that.
Well, I don't know. They must, because you didn't have to like put anything in to buy it. Like, I think you just bought the ticket.
I just grabbed two tickets on the aisles, I think, and I wanted to do...
2 and 2.
So we went to Minneapolis with friends.
Yeah.
And the point was, we'd never seen Shinedown. They announced the tour. They were there with 3 Days Grace. We've seen 3 Days Grace. We really like them. So like, let's go check out that show. Shinedown, never seen them. Know their music from Laser. It's got to be, it's Laser music. It's got to be a good show too, right?
Yeah.
So we had friends, Josh and Angie.
We have friends.
We'll see how they stick around. We have friends, Josh and Angie. Shinedown is like one of Angie's favorite bands.
Yes.
She was telling us every time they do a tour, if they come anywhere close to her, she tries to go to at least 2 shows, which is awesome. I mean, you used to do the same thing with Disturbed. Like, if Disturbed would announce, it'd be like, all right, they're in Chicago, they're in Milwaukee, they're going to be in Cedar Rapids. I guess we're going to all 3 of those shows.
Yep.
So not bad at all. And so we went to go meet them. It was a question if we're going to go to Minneapolis or Milwaukee to see Shinedown. We'd never been to Minneapolis. It was a closer drive for them, I think, by a couple hours. It was like a 7-hour drive for us.
It was 7 hours home. It was like 6 hours there.
Okay, and I think they were saying like 3.5 to 4 hours for them.
Yeah,
so
just under 4 for them. So
not like a big difference, but it was sort of a question of which of those 2 shows are we going to go see. For us, Milwaukee's like an hour drive, hour and a half drive. Like, it's nothing.
It's not
really
bad at all.
But we'd never been to Minneapolis, so it was like, let's go there, check that out. And we used this opportunity to try to do a vlog as well, right? Like, we
tried.
We
have tried.
Yeah. So we've got the footage. We're going to see if we can mix it together. It's pretty shaky from what I've seen, and it might be shit, so I might actually post it or might not do anything with it, but...
or just have it be like 5 minutes long.
Or something like that,
with the footage. We bought some new equipment to try for next time, so we're beginning.
Yep. So we were going with friends. When I was buying tickets, typically when we've gone to mainly sporting events and other events with friends that have seats, we sit in a straight line.
Yeah, like they're all in one row.
Which isn't bad, but like if you want to talk to somebody at the end, so it's usually like me, you, our friend, another friend, or like our friend and their significant other, right? And you're like all in a straight line. And if you want to talk to the person at the end, you have to like lean forward or lean back, and you're like yelling back and forth, and it's a little bit of a pain. I don't really like that sort of setup when we do stuff like that. So this time I was like, let's try something new. Let's do 2 and then get the 2 seats right in front or right behind it and try that out. And I actually really enjoyed that setup. It made it really simple.
Yeah.
Like just to turn around, talk for a little bit, and then like in between the acts and whatnot.
Yeah. We didn't talk. We didn't interact at all during the show. But yeah, definitely during the breaks, it was easy just to stand where we were and just turn around and talk to them.
And like I said, I wasn't sure. I can't remember if this was like the end of the 200 or 100 up to the 200, because you walk into that from the main like concourse area. And then you're on that platform. You either go down or you turn around and go upstairs to the next section. We were like right there on that platform, standing on the edge. So I don't know if we were supposed to, but a couple times we did sort of like expand our room over to that little edge thing and hung out there, which was nice.
Yeah, I think that's a space that you could potentially put a wheelchair or something.
I think
because
so.
it was right on the level of the concourse, so you're not having any stairs, which I think is why it's ADA accessible. But yeah, we utilized as
Yeah, I didn't know that. Otherwise, I probably would have gotten two separate different tickets.
The next 2 rows or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, nothing against you for buying them. I mean, they let you buy them without like having anything, and I doubt if I don't know like when you bought them if they said ADA accessible.
They may have, and I just didn't notice it. Like I was texting Josh back and forth when I was buying. I'm like, where are we going? What night? Do you want Milwaukee? Do you want Minneapolis? It was sort of a rush. Like I was in like that. I got to buy tickets. I got to buy tickets before they sell out, and I need to get tickets close to each other. Like it sucked to be like, we're on this side of the stage, you're on the other side. We're here together. That the whole point is to see this together as a group. So I was furiously like, I got to get these now. Let's go. But yeah.
I mean, I think it was fine. I mean, if somebody came that needed those seats, we would have obviously
for sure.
given up and went somewhere else, like the floor or something.
Yeah.
I mean, we would not complain about that.
No. But like I said, this was the first time going to Minneapolis. We didn't stay in Minneapolis. We stayed in St. Paul.
Yes.
Which this confused me the entire time, like leading up to the event, and even now I'm confused. Like, did we see the show in St. Paul or did we see it in Minneapolis? I'm confused back and forth. But we stayed in St. Paul in this nunnery. What used to be a nunnery.
Convent.
Oh yeah, that's what they're called?
I think so.
Oh, convents. All right. Well, wherever.
Did you make up the word nunnery, or
I thought that was a real word. I don't know.
I don't know if it is or not.
Anyway, it's where they sleep and do nun stuff.
We don't know what nuns do.
No, I don't.
I mean, according to the pictures in the hotel, they like play bocce ball and hula hoop.
Yeah, those were. We were talking with Josh, and he's like, "Those are definitely staged," and I think so. He found the one too in the men's restroom above the urinal where there's like a line of them. They're like walking, and she's like this one nun with this like, ooh, what's going on here? Type look on her face. Yeah. I don't know. And in their room they had a nuns with scythes, like harvesting hay or something.
Sickles.
Scythes, sickles. They're similar things.
Are they the same?
I think they had the big long ones that like the reaper uses to like.
Yeah, I always thought those were sickles.
I think sickles are the little ones that are handheld.
Oh, okay.
For a single hand, whereas scythe is like the big sweeping ones.
Okay.
Again, not 100% sure on this.
We don't know.
But anyway, this hotel was fucking awesome. It was this like old building. Not only do they have these weird photos of nuns all over the place, they had really cool like just paintings as well, like religious style paintings. Yeah, down on your way to the breakfast hall, there, if you like went down there and went down this other hall, there was like a woman with her boob out, just like laying there against the floor, in the sunlight or something. I don't know. It was
interesting.
It was interesting, yeah.
Like some of the paintings, I wonder if they were part of the convent, like before.
Yeah.
Because there was like a lot of religious paintings. Like there was a Jesus painting that I found. I don't remember what floor that was on.
And some like really big ones too, like massive paintings.
Yeah. So yeah, I always wonder if those are like original to the building and then they just repurposed them into art for the
I don't
hotel or what they were doing.
But even in that that hall or that gymnasium, it looked like a gymnasium to me, but it definitely wasn't. Like where you ate breakfast.
Oh, they said they had a sign that was the chapel.
Oh, was it really?
But Angie thought that you could stay in the chapel, so I don't know if it is the chapel or if they had two chapels and one's like bigger than the other one or something.
Maybe. I mean, to me it reminds me of a gym just because it's like the high ceilings, and it's where you ate lunch. So like elementary school for me.
Oh yeah.
We ate in the gym and you just like pulled down the tables.
Yeah.
So I viewed this as like, oh, we're eating in the gym. This gets cleared out for activities, but it clearly doesn't get cleared out. And there's like a little kitchen off the side of that where you go get your hot food and your breakfast food and whatnot. Stained glass all over the place. I don't know. The building had a lot of really cool character to it. I really liked this building.
Yeah.
They had a bar, which was super awesome. 2 little loungy rooms that you can go into, divided by this metal, this gold like chain lace falling down in like a curtain also. But the bar was super sweet. The like lounge areas were super sweet. They had like pews that you could sit in the bar. for like seating and whatnot. They had a drink they made called Holy Water by who was it? It was fuck, I'm
Deacon
forgetting.
Carl?
Deacon Carl. Yes, it was a gentleman by the name of Deacon Carl who made the drink. He's not a real deacon. His name is Carl Deacon.
Yeah. Not spelled like deacon.
Yeah, and he wasn't there, unfortunately. He
No.
was on a trip somewhere else, but
We thought that was pretty cool.
yeah.
The whole story was pretty cool. Who knows? Maybe the story's made up, but
Yeah.
it sounds pretty cool.
I enjoyed this hotel a lot. It was really cool. Even the room was...
Yeah. I like the room because like we were on I never went and saw Angie's room. I don't know if you did. But
No.
we were on the 5th floor, and so we had like these old shutter windows that like came into the room instead of like shutters going out, they came in. But I'm sure they were original to the building, and the ceiling over by the windows was really low, and it was like the shutters came in and like closed off the windows like what you would see in like old movies or whatever.
And like blackout curtains that pulled down.
Yeah, those were added, I think. Those weren't
and
original.
it looked straight up onto the Capitol too.
Yeah, we were facing the Capitol. Yep. Yeah, it was a really cool room. And I just liked the character that they were able to utilize the rooms. I'm sure the rooms were actual rooms for the convent, probably. Because all the halls looked like that. Like they all looked like some of the like on the second floor they kind of looked like office rooms.
I was gonna say that
because they had like the glass that was like painted over so you couldn't see through. But and then like our floor was just rooms. I'm sure that they were like rooms that you would stay in. I mean, that the nuns stayed in.
Yep.
So it was kind of cool how they...
The door to the bar, or like the door on the side of the bar, had this weird sort of like you peephole type thing,
like
but you like
peephole.
pop open and you flip up, and it's like this like maybe 3-inch by 2-inch square with like this gate over it that you look through. It was kind of cool to look through that.
It's interesting that there was like a wire thing over, or like a iron thing over it. Not wire, it was iron. But it's like, why did you need iron to cover that?
Yeah, and when you went back by the bathrooms, they have their like little logo, which is a nun on one side pointing to the women's and like a priest on the other. So it's like cut right down the middle. I really like the aesthetics of this place. It was really cool. Angie had been here before to see a different show, and she stayed here. And when we got tickets, Josh was like, "There's a nunnery we can stay at," and I was like, "Yes, let's do that. That'll be awesome."
Yeah.
Not knowing that this was in St. Paul and not Minneapolis.
Right. It was a little confusing on where we were seeing the show. Or people, there was miscommunication.
But then we're like, shit, at least I was like, shit, we're going to have to drive now to the show. But that's not that bad. Like, it's Twin Cities, I think, because of these two cities, right? Like, they're basically across the street from each other.
Yeah.
You get on the interstate for like 5 minutes as you're driving down, but it's like being in Des Moines,
It was
right?
18 minutes from the hotel.
Yeah, but it means like being in Des Moines, you drive from downtown to Merle
Clive.
or something like that. Same thing. All still in Des Moines, but
Yeah.
Also did do a little bit of exploring. Went to, I can't remember the name, Matt's
Grill.
Matt's Grill.
Yeah.
It's just a little tiny hole in the wall place. Divey as shit.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But it's the home of the Juicy Lucy, which is just 2 burger patties with cheese in the middle. So they like take the 2 burger patties, cheese in the middle, put it together. I actually just said that, so
yeah. Then they fry it up and it's just smoldering hot.
This guy behind the kitchen with this tiny ass grill where he's only like cooking like 6 of these things at a time. That's all he's doing all day long is just flipping this because the line is constantly out the door.
Yeah, the whole time we were there, it was out the door.
Like we waited 10, 20 minutes to sit.
Yeah, probably.
And then we're there, and the entire time we were in line, there was people in front of, people behind us. When we got our table, there were still people there. We left, there were still people there, and walking in.
Yep.
The burger was really good.
It was good, yeah. I don't know if I'd order it again or just get like a regular cheeseburger.
Yeah, Angie, when I was worried to bite into mine, because like I saw you and Josh both bite into yours, and like just took these massive bites, and like hot gooey cheese fell all over. I was like, I don't want that to happen.
Yeah, and it was hot.
And she's like, you just gotta take baby bites till you find the pocket, and then you can squeeze some out and dip it in it if you want. And I was like, oh, that's very smart. So I was just like nibbling at
Yeah.
it until I bit into the pocket,
Yeah.
and it was like, all right, here we go.
Mine was really messy because I made it like a regular cheeseburger and I put like ketchup and mustard on it like you would a regular cheeseburger. And so like when you eat it, like that's going everywhere, and then the cheese went everywhere, and I just felt like I had like goo all over me.
See, I wanted to do that with mustard and ketchup,
Yeah.
but I was worried that would
Yeah.
happen. So I think I was doing...
You did bite by bite.
Yeah, I put just a little bit on each bite and then take that bite, and the next
Yeah.
one put a little bit on.
Yeah. I should have done that, but I guess I was like, oh, it's a cheeseburger. Like, let me just put
But at the
ketchup and
same
mustard
time,
on it.
I think you're supposed to get messy with it a little
I
bit.
know, but
I wasn't
It's-
in the mood for that.
I'm sometimes okay with that, like if I'm at home or if not in a crowded, well, I mean, it wasn't like super crowded, but
I mean, it was full, so yeah.
it was full,
crowded.
but it's small, so that's why it seems full.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah.
But versus when you're at home and you can make a mess and then just like get up and wash your hands and you're all good.
Yeah.
But when you're, and also we were away from the hotel, so we were wearing those same clothes to the concert, so it's like I didn't want to get
Yep.
cheese all over, and I don't know.
Yeah, we also
I should have done what you and Angie did though.
the
and
baby bites.
Took baby bites. I followed Josh. Josh ate first.
Yes.
And then I took a bite, and the cheese just went everywhere.
Yeah. Did explore, found a few record stores we
Yeah.
went to as well.
Yeah.
Both really big, really cool.
Yeah. I don't
the-
remember the first one's name.
Cheapo Records.
Oh,
was the first
Cheapo.
one.
Yeah.
This cool little place where they share it with like a bike store, and like it's got like this L parking lot. One side is only for Cheapo
Yeah.
Records, the other side is only for the bike place for parking.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny. That was like a sign that was Cheapo Record parking only.
Yeah.
Um,
It was interesting.
but we walked in; it was packed when we walked in, with people looking, and they have everything: CDs, movies. It reminded me a lot of Reckless.
Yeah.
honestly.
Had patches, shirts,
patches,
t-shirts.
shirts, pens. Yeah, and they were all in like the clear like safety
Yeah.
don't steal me kind of
Yeah.
things that video games used to come
Yeah. I think Angie found a sign that said like, if you want to steal, please let us know.
in. Really, I
like,
didn't see.
Yeah. I should have took a picture of it, but it was kind of funny because I'm like, oh, that like it was just handwritten. It was just like, if you plan to steal, just let us know. But it was kind of fun.
I did see though, like those boxes were full of like, if you wanted patches, it'd be like a Metallica patch, and there'd be like 12 in there of all the same.
Yeah.
And it's like $2.99 each. So it's like you
Yeah.
have to take it up there. They'll open it and give you one.
Yeah.
Really cool place though. Lots of metal. Lots of
Yeah.
Like you found a bunch of stuff in there.
Yeah. What did we get? We got 2 Whitechapel,
A Chemist,
Who,
the Who, the
like
Mongolian.
Mongolian Who. Yeah. HU. And then I got a Karen's Pick.
Yes.
Yeah, so we got 5 records. Oh, and then you got Pink Floyd.
I got Pink Floyd at Paris.
Yeah.
Their live Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah.
Um,
But I mean, they had they had a lot
They
that we
did.
could have picked up, but we need to rein in
New
on how
and
much.
used.
Yeah,
like
we just have to watch
everything.
how much we spend because
yeah,
it gets expensive.
for sure.
But I thought it was fun because Reckless here, like they had the same stuff over and over and over, so you don't really see like the Chemist or the Whitechapel or different. It's always they always have Death, Metallica, Slayer,
Yeah,
stuff like that. Like here at Reckless, at least the 2 Reckless that we always go to.
yeah. It's very
We don't go to the one in Logan Square.
yeah. Whatever the other one is,
Yeah.
we don't really
We
get
need
out
to
there.
go over there
You
though.
should check that out for sure.
But yeah, so it's fun to go to a record store that has other stuff that we are looking for.
Yeah. And then you found another one called Electric Fetus.
Yeah.
So we went to go check
Yeah.
that out.
Yeah, I think I just Googled like record stores in Minneapolis, and that there was a couple that came up, and that one I was just like, Electric Fetus, let's go check this out.
So when you said that name, I instantly thought of like punk or death metal type.
I thought death
like
metal.
the owner of that was going to be a fan of either death metal or punk or a combination of both. So that's sort of the vibe I expected going into it, is just this, not necessarily rundown, but the dive bar equivalent of a record store.
Oh,
basically
okay,
is what I
yeah.
was expecting.
Yeah,
Show up, another massive store,
yeah, it was huge.
but one side was a bunch of knickknacks. They had smoking items, so like pipes and other like bongs and stuff like that, and incense. and then candles and other knickknacks like coloring books and shit like that.
Yeah, like it almost seemed like maybe some of it was like local stuff that they were selling.
Yeah, they had like a jewelry thing in the middle that may have been like local artists.
Yeah, well, and even some of like the hands lotion and stuff, like it could have been local. I don't know. It's just one of those like stores that
You got a candle there, didn't you?
I did. Yeah,
I forgot about that.
It just said Electric Fetus on it. That's the only reason why I got it.
Oh, okay. But I forgot all about that.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I told Angie, I was like, oh, this would be a perfect place for like if you have a birthday coming up or like Christmas like stocking stuffer things. I was like, this would be perfect.
Yeah.
They had some clothes too in the back.
Yeah.
I didn't look
and
at
some
the
baby
clothes.
stuff as well. They had like a baby corner.
Yeah, and dog and cat stuff. I saw that.
Yep. And then another, like the other half of the store was all vinyl and CDs, and then maybe movies too. I can't remember if they had movies or not. But
I don't remember movies, but they probably did.
But vinyl CDs, they had record players, amplifiers, like all sorts of stuff you would want for anybody new or who's already into the hobby of record collecting, stuff that they would need.
Yeah.
So again, though, it was packed here too.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff
so
there.
many people buying vinyl.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say here is that I don't feel like they had a very large used section. A lot of it seemed new.
It was new. There was like for metal, there was one little section that was used. And the pricing for the new was more than here in Chicago or the cheapo records.
It was about
$2 more.
Roughly $2 more per record. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was just, I mean, we're kind of seeing that most records are like $29 to $35.
Yep.
But these were like $37 to $45.
Yeah.
So it's like, maybe you're paying for the aesthetic of the place as well. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, this place did have a lot of employees too.
They did. Yeah.
Because I mean, both sides, the knick-knacky side had a guy working behind the counter.
3 people.
Did they have 3 people over there? And then the record side as well had 3 people going in there. So cool that they're staffing up and whatnot and can do that. And
no, I understand like you have to have pricing and everything to sustain your business. I totally understand that. I'm just saying it's a little bit more expensive than the other one.
Yeah.
So.
I did see that too. We were at one not too long ago also where I don't remember where.
Oh, and the prices were high?
But there was one where it's like, wow, these prices seem very high. I think it was the one in Denver.
In Denver, yeah.
I don't remember the name of that.
That was outside of Denver, but yeah, like that one that we went to, it was...
Those prices, when we were looking at those, like, wow, this is pricey for this album.
Yeah, there I think you just got like a local...
I got a...
7-inch?
Yes, it was... in the Company of Spirits, they had a 7-inch, and we had just seen them the night before.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, that's awesome.
And then we got some books, because they on the other side of that store, they had like books. So
yeah.
But yeah, that was a little bit pricey too. Maybe we just need to change our mind on what a good deal is on a record. Where I remember when we were living in Iowa, like all the records were always like $25 or $20.
And that was definitely like out of our price range.
Yeah, and I would be like, no, you cannot get a record. Like you can't spend $25 on a record. Because I would just be like, when are you ever going to listen to this? And now we listen to them all the time. But
after all that, made our way to the venue. And the interstate, we took the exit it told us to take.
Yeah.
Which led us directly into a winding upward spiral into the parking garage.
Right. Yeah, because I think I just put in Target Center as the address. And my whole thought was, okay, we'll go downtown near the venue, find a parking garage, and then we will walk around and just kind of see what's going on. And the exit, I can't remember what exit it is, but we took ramp A. I remember that, whatever.
I feel like it was 7A or something like
that.
that.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's exit 7, ramp A. So that takes you straight to the parking garage.
An entrance into a parking garage.
Yep.
You can't do anything else. Like that is how you like.
Yes.
I thought that was so weird that the interstate took you directly into a parking garage.
Yeah, but it makes sense because where the Target Center is, which I think is where their basketball team plays.
Pretty sure.
And then where the Twins play, Target Field, are right by each other.
Yeah, it's like one whole complex.
Yeah. So then the parking garage is for all of that. So it makes sense that like when they designed the interstate around or the parking garage around the interstate, it makes total sense. Like so many cities could use that instead of like clogging up your downtown or clogging up the streets and stuff. And it just makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not familiar, and I'm not going to say I've been to a lot of professional stadiums and whatnot, right? But the few I have been to, and even just thinking here in Chicago, you don't have them very close to each other. Soldier
Yeah.
and United and Soxfield, whatever that's called, are all pretty close to each other, but they're not like it's like a 10-20 minute drive by close. I mean,
Yeah, I was like, they're not close by any
but they're
means.
not like in the same blocks, like across the street from each other.
Right.
Like this
Right.
was.
Yeah. No. I've never been to anything that's like next to it.
Yeah.
Each other like what this is.
And then we found a map once we got out of the parking garage and we're sort of wandering around figuring out where to go. We found a bar across the street, like an Irish pub, and we're like, oh, let's go hang out there for a little bit.
I just saw it out the window. I don't think
Right.
it was on the map. I
No,
just
no.
looked up.
But we saw that, and then we saw the map, and the map had everywhere you could walk in tubes.
Oh, right. So you don't have to go outside.
Skywalks, not
Skywalks.
tubes. Like
Not-
people.
I like tubes.
People hamster tubes, basically,
Yeah,
is what
yeah.
they are.
Which Milwaukee has a few. Des Moines has a few. Chicago has none.
Yeah.
But that would be really cool to have here. And then Minneapolis was kind of cool to see that they had them. And Minneapolis had a lot. Like you could walk all the way to the river.
Yeah.
In
And
tubes.
I've known Minneapolis for years has had this sort of system in place.
Yeah.
I think I learned about that living in Des Moines, walking through Des Moines, like, oh, this is really cool. And I think my dad or somebody was like, oh, well, Minneapolis has it a lot better because they're all over the city.
It's really cool.
It is, yeah.
I mean, we wore coats the whole time because it was chill. It was like low 40s.
Yeah, we were expecting 70s when I looked at it the week before, but
Yeah.
then like a cold front moved in. It was snowing that day too, wasn't it?
Yeah, like
little flurries.
Spitting snow, rain, whatever. But it was chilly, so we had our coats with us, and we could have taken them back to the car, and then just done the whole hamster tube thing. But we ended up wearing them. But
Yeah.
we did need them to go to that bar, but we could have probably found a bar along the hamster tubes if we would have just walked.
Probably. But I mean, yeah, the bar was right across the street. We went, got a couple drinks. Really cool atmosphere. They also had not edible like THC gummies. They had Delta 9
Yeah.
THC.
Like everywhere in Minneapolis had Delta 9.
Right, so we got a couple sodas the night before at like a place, and we got gummies for the show for this one. Took those. I felt a little bit of an effect, not a whole lot, but I did feel something.
I don't think they're like edibles.
Not like we get here in Chicago, no. But they also, I think the day we drove up, their state senate passed a bill legalizing marijuana or something.
Yeah.
So
either the day of or
the day before, or something
the
like
day
that.
before. I think it was the day before because we went on a Saturday.
Yeah.
So.
Anywho, had a few drinks at that bar, got our gummies, and went into the venue. Just a standard stadium.
Yeah, I would say standard arena.
You've been to one arena, you've been to them all basically at that point, right?
Yeah.
The only thing that's different is your food and your beer that you're getting.
The food was expensive.
Was it?
Yeah, so I mean we weren't really hungry because we had those cheeseburgers, but I saw I just saw while we were waiting for shirts that like a walking taco, which is
you said that,
a small bag of Doritos with taco meat and cheese on it. Like that's what a walking taco was $15. And I was like, I would not pay $15 for a walking taco. That's what you get at a high school football game for $2.
Yep.
So
we used to sell them in Boy Scouts for money.
Yeah.
Beers weren't that bad, I don't think. They were pretty standard priced for beers. The merch line, the first thing we did is got in the merch line, which was long as fuck.
Yeah. I wonder if we would have walked around if it would have been shorter.
So getting into the venue, like getting in through security, there was an employee being like, there's 4 more entrances straight down. You don't have to stay in this one line, which everybody was doing. And once he said that, a bunch of people went that way. And we're like, well, this one's already clearing up because everybody's going that way. So we'll just hang out here.
Yeah.
In the merch line, an employee said the exact same thing. There's 2 more. If you just go down here and around the corner, there's 2 more merches. Going to be shorter lines. And at that point, we've already been in line for like 5-10 minutes or something.
Yeah.
And we're like, I don't want to risk it. I thought about saying, I'm going to go check that out. And if it's shorter, I'll text you.
You should
come
have.
on over. Because
it took us 45 minutes to get through merch.
Merch was a long time to get through. But we got our shirts.
And I guess for me, I was kind of irritated because I was like, I don't even want merch.
Oh.
But I knew I knew Angie wanted a shirt, so I was, it's one of those things when you go with other people, it's like you kind of don't do something you want to do because the other person wants to do it. So it's a give or take thing.
Yeah.
So.
But I ended up getting a shirt and a koozie as well.
Yeah.
Decided I'm going to get rid of the shitty, cheap-ass koozies I have and buy band ones. So, yeah. There's a few bar ones I might keep. The names are cool. But anywho, got our merch, found our seats just in time for the first opener.
We were 3 seconds late.
Were we 3 seconds late?
Yeah, they had started playing before we got out there.
Well, they started their intro.
I don't know. Like, it's something you and I are pretty good. I mean, unless we intentionally are late to something, like, we're pretty good at being there before they start playing.
Yeah, I thought we had
more time.
I was like, oh, we have like 15, 20 minutes before they go on.
Yeah. And I was like, we have 6 minutes to walk back. And
yeah, I wasn't aware that it was that close.
Yeah.
And the first band, From Ashes to New, hit the stage. Played a pretty quick set, 7 tracks, starting with Nightmare, Heartache, Hate to Me, My Name, Panic, Crazy, and their last song, Through It All.
There's 2 songs that I had heard, but now I don't remember which 2, because like I don't know the names of their songs, but they're on Spotify that I've heard before.
Interesting. Yeah. I haven't heard of any other. I think I've heard the name, but I haven't heard of.
Like actually heard their music. Yeah. I mean, it's not something that I seek out by any means, but I had heard 2 of their songs.
What were your thoughts of them?
I liked them. It's got rap and like a new metal type where like one singer is rapping and then the other one's singing.
Yep. So they have 2 vocalists, a rap singer and like just a normal. I don't want to say normal. A rap singer
the
and
normal
then
way to sing
traditional metal singing.
Yeah.
Type.
Yeah. We found out later that the singer, like later on in the concert, that the like clean vocal, the clean vocalist, had been ill and was only like had 50% like energy and
I don't know
voice and stuff. So I'm like, oh, it'd be interesting because I didn't hear that.
I didn't either.
Like Angie had mentioned that she noticed that you couldn't hear some of the vocals. So
I did
maybe
notice
that was
that, but I assumed it was more of
a sound thing,
a sound issue, not necessarily his voice issue.
Yeah,
but I did pick up on that too.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what a normal show would be, but I mean, it was still fantastic. I didn't notice that, like, because when we saw Whitechapel, the lead singer for Whitechapel was very ill, and you could tell he was very ill.
Yeah, but not from a vocal standpoint. I felt like his vocals were on point.
Right.
It was, he had no fucking energy. And he was like,
that's what I mean by by how you could tell. And also he told us he was very ill. But from the performance, from Ashes to New, like I couldn't tell at all.
Same. If they said nothing, I would have been like, oh, again, the issues with not hearing the vocals, I would have chalked it up to there's an issue with sound. They're working on it. It's going to be better for the next band type thing.
Yeah.
Like this is an opener, and that's kind of one of the things I think you do with openers is
test out the sound,
validate what we tested in sound check, what we've done before is working, work out any last minute kinks that pop up. Yeah, I was not honestly a big fan of them.
Okay.
I did not like the music.
I mean, I don't know if I would say I was a huge fan, but it was
you enjoyed
okay.
it, yeah.
Yeah, it was okay.
I mean, I felt like they put on a good performance. They did do that. But the music to me was nothing unique.
Okay. Yeah.
It sounds like you said it's a new metalish sound with the vocal, like the rap and the clean vocal type singing.
It's kind of like what everything is right now that's coming up. Like new bands are kind of like this. Well, not everything. I shouldn't use those types of words, but we've seen a lot of bands that are
very similar,
rap and metal together.
Yeah, and to me, it was nothing new. I guess what I'm going with it was.
Even though they're from Ashes to New.
Even though they're from the Ashes to New, yes. No, I just.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I just got that vibe. Like I've seen this 1,000 times already. Why do I need to see it again? Or I've heard it 1,000 times. I don't need to hear it again. Type thing.
No, I get that.
But the performance was good.
Yeah, so when we we did have seats, and we haven't had seats. I mean, we've went to like Roger Waters with seats, but we have not had seats for a metal show. Oh, I guess we went to Rammstein. We had seats for Rammstein.
Yep.
But normally we get floor seats.
We try to get floor seats. Yeah, we do try to get floor seats, and I think I wanted to talk about that a little bit at the end, because I think my thought of seats has changed after seeing this show a little bit. But you're right. We typically do try to get floor seats. Like that's the thing we really want to be at and where we want to be for shows. I'm just, after seeing Shinedown and 3 Days Grace, I'm like, a part of me is like, I felt like overall 3 Days Grace and Shinedown was a great show to see. Like, it was a lot of fun to watch them. And they're not my absolute favorite bands, right? Metallica, there's a handful of bands where you're right. Like, if they're coming in town, I want to be on the floor. I want to be in the crowd and experience the crowd atmosphere, which is, Metallica, Slipknot, just to name a couple for me. And I know there's a few for you as well. Like Wage War for you is going to be one where you want to be in the crowd. You wouldn't want to be in seats. But for some of these other bands where I enjoy the music, I just kind of want to kick back and watch the show. Seats aren't necessarily the worst. And if it's a massive price difference, maybe seats are fine. Like, maybe we don't have to have floor for everything. Is sort of where my head's at now after seeing this show.
Yeah.
I don't know if your opinion changed after this or
no,
not.
I didn't like it.
You didn't like it at
no.
all?
So something that you just said is sit back and watch the show, which I really felt like I was watching a concert happen and I wasn't at the concert. Like, I really felt like, because, like, does that even make sense?
It does a little bit.
Like, I just felt like I was watching a performance instead of, like, at the performance or in the performance or in the crowd of the performance.
Yeah, but we've also been to some crowds where it's not moving at all.
No,
like,
I'm not saying you had to move. I'm just saying from my perspective of looking down on the stage and looking down on the crowd, I was like, oh, I honestly feel like I'm watching a show.
Gotcha.
Not at the show.
Yeah.
That's how I felt.
No, that's fine.
And that's what I told Angie that after the first, or from Ashes to New got done. I was just like, I feel really weird. Like, I feel like I'm observing a show and not, like, at the show.
Yeah. But sometimes you want to observe the show, right? Like, Rammstein, I think, is a good example of that, where...
Looking back, I wish we would have had field tickets.
Do you?
I don't know.
I
wish we could have seen two of them, and one on the field and one in the stands.
Wouldn't want field. I would want the
Fury Zone.
And I'm not fucking paying the prices for the Fury Zone.
Yeah.
I hate that whole thing, and I will not pay to do, like, that split floor. I think that's the dumbest fucking thing ever. But then I would pay for, like, closer 100 level seats so I can get close to the stage if I could. I do feel like, knowing how Rammstein worked out, and now this one as well, I'm starting to get a sense of, like, all right, if I'm going to be in the seats, you need to be down a little closer and closer to the back of the stage. My fear with...
Maybe that would be a part of it. It's like, if you're not close, like, we were close-ish, like, kind of parallel to the stage, where, like, if you're at the back of the stadium looking in, like what we were for Roger Waters, like, that would be a little bit different.
Oh, I was thinking more of closer to the drummer. So closer to the base of the stage. So down and closer to the base.
Okay.
My thought with being where we were when I picked those tickets is, like, it's the middle of the stage. So as they move back and forth up and down the stage, you'll be able to see all of it very easily. Where if you're all the way in the back or all the way up in the front, you now have to, like, strain your head while you look this way or, like, this way, right? So that was sort of my thought with picking those seats when I picked those.
Okay.
So I don't know. Rammstein, like you were saying, might be a little different because in the back, then you get the pyro in the middle as it's going up. But I still think I would have liked to have been closer to the stage to see the fun props and shit that they bring out a lot better. Yeah. Like when they bring the giant stroller out for Poppy and Mine Tile and, like, all the props they come out with. If the closer you are to the stage, the more fun it's going to be to see. Like,
no, I get that.
All that fun stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't enjoy it as much as it sounds like you did.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Shinedown, 3 Days Grace. I enjoy their music. It's not like my absolute. Oh my god, this is my favorite
Yeah.
band.
Yeah.
But I do want to see them again. I will see them again. But I don't like if floor tickets are 120 and seats are 80. I'm probably gonna get a seat and be
Okay.
just fine, or I would be just fine. I mean, but if you wanted floor, we can go get floor and
Yeah.
experience that.
I mean, so when we went to Denver, we saw 3 Days Grace on a whim. Like
Yeah,
at like
yep.
1 o'clock in the afternoon, we bought tickets for that night's show, and I remember having so much fun. We hung back in the crowd. We weren't like in the center of the crowd. We hung back, and I had a blast. You were kind of done with it, but I had a blast.
By the very end, I was done with it
Yeah.
because that was our third time seeing them
Yeah,
within like
yeah.
3 months.
Yeah, we had seen them a lot, but this time it was just like, again, I didn't have that same feeling.
Fair. That's fair. Yeah.
So, and I honestly don't like seats because I feel like where we were, it was better this time. But otherwise, you're going to be standing to the whole time anyways. And it's like you stand up and you can't move.
You feel bad for moving and bumping into people.
You're like stuck in that little spot. And it's just like
where on the floor you have more.
You can either, I mean, sometimes you are pretty cramped depending on what show it. Like Metallica, we are super cramped, but whatever. But if you don't want to be cramped, then you stand back further. So, I mean, you have that mobility of moving where when you're in a seat, it's like you have this section to stand in.
I get that. I know you do have some anxiety too with like even in movie theaters,
Yeah,
right? Where it's like you want to be on an aisle.
Yeah,
So,
which is why you got aisle seats.
which is one of the reasons that I got aisle seats.
Yeah.
But I get that too. I do get that, and I do hate that about seats as well. If I do get seats, I'm going to try to get aisle seats.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, these were a little bit better because we did have that little section.
The ADA section?
The ADA section. So, thank you. I guess my anxiety could be the reason I got ADA seats. But, like, I mean, that's the only thing. It's like I would prefer to be on the floor in the crowd with the people and not observing it from afar.
Yeah.
So,
I get that. I do. Yeah, anyway, moving on. From Ashes to New, not my favorite thing. I thought they did an okay performance, a fine performance.
it was fine. Yeah.
You seem to enjoy their music a little more than I did.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Definitely added them to our playlist. So, yeah, not bad.
I mean, they're not like a band where I'm like, oh my God, they're coming to Chicago. Let's go see them. But it's like, oh, they're going to be there with.
They're an opener. I'll go check out their set again.
They're going to be there with somebody else. Sure, I'll go check them out.
Yep. So that leads us into 3 Days Grace. They came out on stage in a kind of cool, unique way. They started in the back of the floor and worked their way forward through the crowd.
I forgot about that, yeah.
Or maybe not through the crowd.
It was off
but
to the
down
side.
the side, down the rail sort of thing. And then climbed the stage, or went up on the stairs onto the stage.
They climbed up the stage?
Yes, on stage right.
Yeah.
And took the stage and started performing. This is, I guess, the time... Maybe not, but I thought the stage was kind of weird, honestly.
From Ashes to New and for 3 Days Grace, it did seem weird.
But it also followed the same setup for Shinedown.
It did, but Shinedown made sense.
Yeah, Shinedown made sense. They made it work. But and I guess what I mean by weird is typically at like these arena shows and a lot of shows, outside of a handful where like Metallica does the center aspect, most bands have the stage against the far side, like it's just a flat, straight stage, and they might have either thing that comes out a little bit for them to stand on, or it's just flat. They had that flat thing going on, which is typically, once again, I was like, this is where the majority of the stage is going to be, the majority of shit's going to happen. For Ashes to New and 3 Days Grace, they had that straight back thing, right? And then they had this long, straight, like basically a T, and the shaft of the T is where 3 Days Grace and Ashes to New basically played, with the drum kit being where the T and the shaft and the top of the T sort of intersect. So the drum kit was there, and they didn't use anything in that back. And I was like, oh, that's kind of weird that you're only using this straight out kind of aspect of the stage. Shinedown did too, but they had more lighting and effects behind them on that flat bit as well.
Yeah.
But it's the first time I think I've seen a stage like that it just went straight out into the crowd, into the floor, and you don't really utilize that top of the T like I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, normally it's the drum kit is all the way back on the top of that T,
Yeah.
not at the intersect. And
I get what you're saying. I understand where you're going now. At first, I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like Disturbs for Evolution was like that, so I was
right,
really
yeah,
confused.
but the drum was back.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Um,
They didn't utilize like the standard part of the stage.
yes,
Like, that
yes, that's what
like everything was on that part that comes out.
Yep, and I thought that it would fall back then for Shinedown, and they would start utilizing it like a normal stage that I've seen.
Yeah, I get what you're saying now.
But no, everybody used it the same way, and 3 Days Grace is sort of where I picked up on how this was sort of constructed and utilized too. 3 Days Grace, it was a good show. It's a show we've seen apparently to the set list, like the exact same set list.
We've seen this before.
So their new album came out, and they've started this one off the same way as they did the last time, So-Called Life. And by last time, I mean last time we saw them as an opener.
Yep. Yeah, because when we saw them as a headliner, they played 3 extra songs or 4 extra songs.
I think they played like 7 other
more songs. Oh, okay.
They played a pretty long set.
I felt like it was just like 4. But so when we saw them twice last year as openers, it was the exact same set list both times.
Yeah, and it was So-Called Life, their new song off their new album, or one of their new songs off their new album.
The one only song.
It's a couple years. It's a little old now, that album. At least 1 year.
A couple years, yeah.
Animal I Have Become, Home, Pain, Break, The Mountain, Painkiller, I Hate Everything About You, Never Too Late, and of course their final song, Riot.
Yeah. So when we got to Pain, I realized that it was exactly the same as last year.
The one thing that was different, I think, is I Hate Everything About You, where they came on with like a little video of the bands being like, we just wrote this song in like 10 minutes or whatever it was, right? Yeah. And I can't remember, did they say they did that in Minneapolis after one show? They're like, the idea came to us after a show here.
Maybe. Maybe. So it might have been something special just for that show.
Yeah.
Because when we saw this set list, it was at Hogs Fest.
Hogfest, yeah.
Yeah, so Hogfest, not Hogs.
I keep calling it Hogs Fest too.
Yeah. So like it was the exact same all the way down. So when we got to like Homer Pain, I was like, oh, this is
probably gonna be the same.
The same, yeah.
I mean, you kind of know they're gonna end on Riot, like that's
big, they're not
song.
Gonna play Riot. I mean, unless they come out with a new album with like a different song, but I mean, it's almost like Disturbed, like you end on Sickness,
or very close to Sickness.
Yeah.
The other thing I remember is Home. When that came up, they came out and they're like, we played Minneapolis a lot. We fucking love the city. You guys are awesome. You're always great to us. You always show us a good time. This is almost like a second home to us.
Yeah.
And I was like, I kind of now want to go to another show and see if it's the same. Like it's.
Yeah, to see if the same banter happens.
I call it the cheap applause, but it's like the guaranteed applause. Like, hello Milwaukee, how are you?
Yeah.
And like, hello X, City X.
Yeah.
You say that, the crowd's gonna cheer because hey, I live there. I'm from there. I know that place.
Yeah. One thing I brought up to Angie after 3 Days Grace got done was that sometimes since we go to different cities, I forget where I am, that sort of thing. So when they're like Minneapolis, like it's like, oh yeah, that's where we are, or like Milwaukee, or wherever we are. So it's a little different than where, like, obviously, like we're gonna see Rob Zombie in Iowa, and it's like we still have pride for Iowa. So it's like, well, from living in Iowa, not for what's going on in Iowa, but it's like, so like if Rob Zombie's like, hey Des Moines or whatever, it's like you have that cheering or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, but even with all the banter and stuff, it was still a fine show. And I mean, we've seen this set multiple times now. We saw them a couple times. Like I said, we saw them twice last year as an opener. This time again as an opener. It's the same set. They're still supporting their new album. So I still really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the music. I really enjoyed their performance as well. And like we've said 100 times, like, this is laser music to us.
Yeah.
Like, this is what you hear on the radio for metal music. This is like what you get.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not bad. It's fine. It's enjoyable. They put on a good show. And yeah, was happy to see him again.
Yeah, I think that's where I still go back on my comment on I had more fun in Denver being on the floor. Or, I mean, well, I guess Denver had seats at the Mission
It did,
Ballroom.
yeah.
Where it's more like you can just kind of move around, dance around, whatever you want to do. And when you're in seats, it's like you get this little section. Don't move.
Yeah, and I guess there is that aspect. Like we were, like I said, like you said, we were on the aisle, so that made it a little easier and better for us. But if we weren't, maybe I wouldn't have had that same thought.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying I want seats for everything, but for some of the stuff where it's like, it's not my absolute favorite band, I just want to go to see you. That wouldn't be too bad, I think, to have a seat. But yeah, 3 Days Grace. Good show.
Yeah, it was fun.
And then, of course, that leaves us up to Shinedown. We listened to them a little bit on the drive up. Not the day of the show, because I don't like doing that. But on the drive up, we listened to them. And I had forgotten how many Shinedown songs I actually knew. Once again, laser music. Like, they play this stuff a lot on the radio.
Yeah, this is definitely what you hear on the radio.
And there's one song that they have, 45, that they played this night, that I completely forgot was their song. But it was like the biggest thing when it came out and was always on. And I remembered that, like, as soon as it came out, I was like, oh shit, that's right, that's their song. I forgot about that.
Is this the song that before it went on, they had like Casey Kasem come on and be like, oh, this has been on the top
I think it
40
was.
for 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't remember.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, they played, Laser plays that, or played it. I don't know if they still do, but they played it all the time.
Well, they also had their, like, I think you mentioned this in a different podcast. They had their, like, vote on your songs every day, your top 5 songs. Yeah, at
10 o'clock p.m.
And they come on and play those, the ones that people voted, and that was, like, number 1 for the longest time.
Yeah.
But going through their set list real quick, they played 19 songs, a pretty long set list. They went on for a long time.
They did, yeah. Well, I thought that it would be over at 10:45, and they played until after 11, I think.
Yeah, it was a late night for sure. Diamond Eyes they opened with, Dead Don't Die, I'll Follow You, Bully, Unity, If You Only Knew, State of My Mind, Enemies.
State of My Head.
Followed by Enemies, then The Symphony of Being Human.
Symptom
of Being
Human.
A Symptom of Being Human. Followed by Sound of Madness, Planet Zero, which I think is their new album.
Maybe, yeah.
Then 45, like we talked about. Devil. So this one says with taped intro. That might have been the Casey Kasem, but I thought it was 45.
I thought it was 45 too.
After Devil, we get Second Chance, followed by Don't Look Back in Anger, followed by Daylight, Get Up, an acoustic version of that. Then Simple Man, their cover of Lynyrd Skynyrd, Monsters, and they finish with Cut the Cord.
Yeah.
Again, so many of these songs, Cut the Cord, Simple Man, I forgot they did a cover of Simple Man, 45, Enemies, Bully, like all of these songs, like I forgot all about these.
Yeah.
And again, I really enjoyed their set, and this is one of those bands where this was our first time seeing them, and I'm kind of shocked that we haven't seen them before.
Yeah, I'm surprised that we hadn't seen them either. And we talked about it with Angie last summer. How she's like, oh yeah, like I've seen I almost said Disturbed. I've seen Shinedown like 6 times or 7 times or something. I'm like, it's a band we've never seen.
Right.
Like, and I don't know if it's just they've came around and we've just been busy, or we just don't care enough to see them, or if it's I don't know why.
So I was thinking about this. I think a lot of it goes back to when we first started going to concerts. Shinedown definitely wasn't one of the. I mean, I was a little bit more prudish, I guess, when it comes to my metal back then. I was like, that's not metal. This is metal.
Yeah.
And like, if it was on the radio, I was like, that's shit music. It's not metal music. You want metal music? Go see Black Label Society. Play them on the radio. You know, stuff like that.
You still say that.
I do, but not as much anymore.
Yeah. I mean, we have Spotify now, so we can make our own playlists.
Yeah, and I still like. I'm more apt to go to different concerts and different stuff now. So when I first started out, it was definitely like, here's my vision of what I think is good metal, good music, and I'm only going to go see the stuff I think is good. I'm not going to go out and exploring other things. I'll explore it, and if I find out about it, then it's like, all right, cool. I either like it or don't, and then I'll go see it live. After that, we sort of took a break from seeing live music from like 2009 to 2016.
Yep.
And even after 2016, we really didn't start going to shows until about
2019.
2019, 2018 to 2019.
Pretty much once we paid off our credit cards in 2019, then we're like, oh shit, now we can go see music.
And so that was the thing. It was financially, we just weren't in a place where we can go see any show we wanted to. It was, there were a select number of shows, bands, where if they came to town, then we tried to go see them because we could afford very little extra bands to go see.
Like 2019, I think we went to 8 shows, and I thought that was a lot of shows. And this month we're going to like 11.
Yeah. So I think that might have been part of it. But
that was definitely part of it.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So like if Shinedown did come around, it wasn't like we don't have the extra income to go see a band we're only slightly interested in.
Yeah. Or that we know, well, we thought that we only knew like 3 songs.
Right.
Where in reality, we probably knew like 10.
Right.
Half of them.
But also, we've been to a few festivals as well.
Yes.
And they haven't been at festivals.
Yes.
So, I mean, like...
That's interesting, too.
Theory of a Dead Man, the first time we saw them was last year, too. And their band, I think, is in the same category.
Yeah. Or Theory. Are they Theory or Theory of a Dead Man?
They go by both, I think. Or at least people know what you're talking about if you say both. Pop Evil, I think, falls in the same category. The first time we saw them was at open air.
Yeah.
So
that
same
one's
with
really
Breaking
surprising.
Benjamin.
Yeah. Like Pop Evil's really surprising to me that we haven't seen them more because I had a really good time when we saw them a few weeks ago.
Same.
So.
And like to me, Shinedown, Pop Evil, 3 Days Grace, they're all in that same sort of the vein. Like they all play very similar music.
Very similar. Yeah.
And it's always a lot of fun seeing them.
I
had a blast at this show. I really did.
I did too. I really enjoyed it. I'm going to go back to my same comment. I think I would have enjoyed it more on the floor. But, I mean, that's just me personally. Because by the end of the night, I was getting really tired of standing at my little spot.
Okay.
Honestly. Like, and Angie had talked about, because, like, behind the, like, right when you walk through the curtain to go to our section. I don't remember what section we were in, but you walk through the curtain, there was, like, a wooden bar type thing there. And she mentioned after 3 Days Grace, like, oh, I wonder if I can go stand over there. That way I can like move around more or whatever. And I was almost ready to be like, I'll go stand with you. But we didn't. I mean, it was full also. And I don't know how that works. Like, cause I know that you have to keep the aisles clear. So it's not like we could really stand in the aisle area. So
the usher guy was backing people away.
Yeah.
And that was one thing too for us. We're like, oh, could we move out of our seats into this little pocket area? And are we gonna be cool? Because there was the usher guy like, keep on moving your seat. Let's go.
Yeah, and I saw him actually walk down the steps and like tell a guy that he had to stand in like off the steps. He was on the steps, which we did during Metallica at S&M too.
But we were the very last.
We were in the last row. We were in the last row. So, but like that's another thing that I just don't care about being in seats is like
being told where you can and can't.
Yeah, you have to stand in these little. It's the little section thing where I'm like, what if I want to stand off to the side?
But I mean, given all that, I still enjoyed the show. I thought the performance was great. They had this cool little piano that dropped. What they
named it something. I can't
remember the name either.
Yeah,
like
I don't
Sky
remember.
Piano or something like that.
I don't remember what they named it, but gosh, we should have wrote it down because it's been 2 weeks since we saw this. A week and a half.
Yeah,
a week.
A week.
Oh, just 1 week.
It was Sunday the 30th, and it's now the 7th.
Oh my god, 1 week.
So 1 whole week.
Oh my gosh, it seems like it was so long ago. Yeah, I forgot what the piano was called, but it became part of the show because like even at the end when they were like ending, they like brought the piano down so people could cheer for it and then put it back up.
It had like little LEDs on it and everything on the side.
Yeah,
I thought that was kind of cool.
I didn't see it come down the first time.
Oh, I did.
And then the second time I saw it, and then I was like, oh, that's really cool.
The guitar player, I remember, because the first time it came down, was like standing on it, playing the guitar while the piano player was...
While it was coming down?
No, not while it was coming down. Once it's down and the guy was playing
I saw that, yeah.
I thought that was kind of cool.
I just didn't see it
actually
come down. That's why I was saying.
The top of the T that we were talking about where they had for the stage, whereas like this is weird. They did utilize that, as I said earlier, but mainly for pyro. Like they had
Yeah.
some pyro that popped out of that.
Yeah.
They had this cool back that went behind the drummer. It was like this tower of
Right.
a screen tower, but it was like the corner of a square,
Yeah.
and so the point of the square, so it made like a little triangle, right? Basically was at the point of the drummer, and then that presented to both sides of the stage,
Yeah.
so you can see
Sometimes they'd have band members
like footage.
or footage on it. That was another complaint that I had about being in the seats is we could only see like 1.5 sides of that, where if we were positioned in a different spot, like I think we were in 121 or 131,
Something like that. Yeah.
just to give a perspective of where we were, where like if you were either in the back of the stadium or more towards the back of the stadium, then I think you would be able to see that whole thing more.
You could position yourself in a place
Yeah.
where you could see it
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
See the whole thing.
Yeah, that was just a little thing. I mean, but granted, if you were on the side of the stage near the rail or something, like how the stage came out, like the rail U'd, basically,
Yeah.
like a U. And so you could be on the rail on both sides. So it'd be the same thing. Like if you were on the floor on one of those sides, it would have been the same way. So it's not necessarily just the people in the seats couldn't see. It would have been
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
both sides. So
Yeah. I was a little worried because going into it, as we said, Josh and Angie had seen them multiple times. And Josh had alluded to there's a lot of interacting with from the band with the crowd.
Oh,
Basically
okay.
storytelling of like, hey, we wrote this song
Oh.
about XYZ.
I didn't remember that though.
So I didn't remember as much either. But I kind of got, there were definitely a few bits of it. But when he said that, I was really thinking, oh shit, it's going to be every single song. It's going to be a song, chat. And like I instantly go back to seeing Kiss. And it's,
Oh yeah, yeah.
this song's from 1972 off of one of our albums. Like just a story about
Do you have that album?
right, yeah. Like I don't know. I enjoy banter from the band with the audience, but to me there is a fine line of of too much banter. And so going into it's like shit, there's gonna be a lot of this, and I'm not gonna enjoy that. But I don't remember a whole lot.
I don't
honestly.
remember it either.
So maybe it wasn't as much as past performances, but I do remember some of it for sure.
Yeah. It did seem like from Angie's perspective that this is the same setup that they had last year or last time that she saw them. I don't know if that was last year or not, but with the stage set up and then the pyro how it was, and maybe like the lights and stuff are almost the same. The lights are really cool.
Yeah, talk about those.
Well, I noticed it with Disturbed too. So when we talk about Disturbed here in a couple hours, but for everybody listening, it'll be a couple weeks from now. But the lights, instead of just being like standalone lights or like just one straight light piece, they like bend and like, you know, go a whole bunch of different ways. So it kind of goes with the song or the theme of the song and like gives different perspective of the lights where maybe, I mean, in stadium shows you could do that more, where like if you're at House of Blues or Radius or something like that, where, you know, you can kind of just have the straight lights or the lights that are there or whatever.
Because this was like a weird little modern art sort of chandelier type thing hanging over that shaft of the T, right? And you're right, yeah, it would.
You just like saying shaft.
I do, yes. I don't know how else to explain it.
I know, yeah. Yeah. The long parts.
But I think they're the same size. Like the T is the same size. So I don't know what the base of the T. No, yeah, that'd be the base. Like I don't know, whatever. I'm gonna keep saying shaft. So this shaft.
The chandelier over the shaft.
Yes, the chandelier over the shaft. Was not, like you said, not just like a straight light, but it was like crisscross lights and
it moved with every song.
Yeah, and it would go like the back would tilt down or something. They also shot like sparklers, or what do you call it?
Oh yeah. Fire.
No, not fire, but it's like the sparks.
Sparklers.
Yeah, but like big sparklers falling down, like just
raining fire.
Sure, raining fire. But it's not fire. Like fire's pyro that would come up from the base.
Fireworks.
Whatever. Sparklers coming down. I'm going to say like a wall of sparklers that would just come down out of this thing as well. I did also notice for one of the songs they had like 3 lights, then like 4 feet, 3 lights all the way down that shaft that shot straight up. And
Oh yeah, that was really cool too.
That was
yeah.
a really cool
like
thing.
from the bottom
Yep.
up. Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
So the lighting effects, the pyro effects were all super cool for this performance.
Yeah, and the pyro was in the middle of the stage too.
Yep.
Like when from where we were sitting, like when the lights were all up, you could see where it was taped off, where it was like you kind of knew where things were gonna come from.
Right. And as a band member, you want that too.
Yeah.
You want to know, like,
yeah.
you know what songs are going to have pyro, and you know, like, where, all right, when this song plays, I cannot stand here
In that pink box.
section.
Yeah.
So I will not.
Yeah. I remember before they came out, like they put red X's out. And was it you or Angie? I was like, what are those for?
Maybe.
I think it was you. And I was like, I bet that's where they're going to stand.
Oh,
and
yeah.
sure enough, like as soon as like that screen behind the drums opens, they all come out and the drums come out and they go and stand right there. And I'm like, see?
Yeah.
I mean, we did the same thing in dance. Like for recitals, you had
really?
like little X's,
I
and that's
guess,
where you
yeah. I
know
think you
how
do
to
that
stand.
with, like, plays and shit, too.
Yeah,
You have
yeah.
markers.
Yeah.
That's like, this is
Yeah.
where I am for my moment.
Yeah. And like most professional things, you wouldn't see those, but they are there. There's
Yeah.
like some indication where you're
Yep,
supposed
yep.
to stand.
All in all, great show. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. It's another one of those bands. I mean, we've said it with Pop Evil. 3 Days Grace, when we talk about them, it's like, if they come to Chicago, sure, if we have nothing going on. But it's not like, we're not like Angie, where we're like, oh my God, we have to find another show to go see.
Right, but I mean, that's her favorite band.
It is.
So, like,
it is, 100%. Like, I mean, already I've looked up multiple bands this year of like, when can I see them again?
Yep.
So.
No, but you're right. This is one I'll definitely, if they come around again, I definitely want to see them again for sure.
Yeah. As long as we have nothing going on.
Yep.
It's not like we're going to be. I don't know if I would drive back to Minneapolis to see them.
I don't know.
It was a long drive.
was
I
a-
want to go back. I want to go back to Minneapolis.
See, and the thing is, we got done with this show and instantly drove back the next day.
Yeah.
Where if we had made a longer trip out of it
Yeah.
to explore the city a
Yeah.
little bit more, it probably would have been more fun.
Yeah, I think so too. We have so much going on this month that we made this work into it, but it was like drive there, have the show, drive home.
Yep. Because the night before we were at Kimmis here in Chicago.
Yep.
So, yeah. I said it already. Great show, great time. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a really good show. I enjoyed it more than I thought. So
yeah. Anyway, go check out live music. You'll find something new that you may not have thought you'd like, and it turns out it's a blast.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
go check it out.
Bye.